We had a 6.8 earthquake strike off the Chilean coast. Lorenzo surprised almost everybody, asterisk, when it became a Category 5 hurricane. It appears to be a threat to Ireland and possibly Europe, though a debate rages on amongst weather Twitter about that. Models continue to show signs that the October hurricane I've been talking about since April is a real possibility. We got a big, bad, possibly record-breaking blizzard blowing through North America and South North America, Canada. Naruto is going to bring some extremely heavy rainfall into southwest United States. And, it'll move east, I believe. And that, this is, I think, like the 5th Category 5 hurricane in 4 years, which is extremely highly anomalous. And remember, we will be on the lookout for the Gulf of Mexico hurricane to be extremely large, extremely anomalous as well. I mean, it's best to prepare for the worst and prepare for the worst and pray for the best. So far, we've been really lucky this hurricane season. But yes, when the blizzard combines with the Naruto, or whatever it's called, moisture, I imagine we're going to see some extremely nasty rainfall across West Texas, all the way up through Oklahoma, into the Ohio Valley, and then it will just move east. It's going to get stormy, y'all. And yes, in this McDLT, crazy Earth is a lava lamp pattern, expect to see both heat and cold records broken, as the hot side stays hot and the cold side stays cold. It would appear that Lorenzo is absolutely no threat to the United States of America, but I would say until cleared, UK, I would watch out for this thing because it does some weird, nasty swirl thing, and then it reforms with another hurricane and then smacks you guys. You guys get gobsmacked. Man, somehow all the pink moisture skips over Mexico and back up in the middle of America. It's weird. So for the next week, the clear and present danger will be the major rain and flooding that will take place in the middle of the United States, as the giant Azores High is going to cause some nasty action and some repetitive rain. So the parts that were hit hardest 6 months ago are going to get hit hard again. Spaceweather.com is letting us know that the geomagnetic storms are subsiding. Because remember, when the sun acts weird, Earth weather acts weird. And people have some crazy mood swings, especially in 2019. Subsiding storms. Contrary to forecasts, a stream of solar wind that hit Earth's magnetic field on September 27th did not produce G2 class geomagnetic storms. Instead, minor G1 class storms were observed. Sometimes that happens, even though storms are subsiding now, as the solar wind speed ebbs below 500 kilometers a second. This weekend's storm may have been minor, but it was enough to create an explosion of auroras over northern Norway. Yeah, that's pretty beautiful, and that's very impressive. Technically, in my book, solar wind counts as activity, because it means the sun is doing stuff. With all the gas giants on the same side of the sun, look for more major volcano eruptions and earthquakes in the United States, including all the way east coast, because that's just how it goes. If you look it up, all the major earthquakes and volcano eruptions in the United States and Canada happened when all the gas giants were on the same side. And Jupiter's moon Io, the position of its moons around it, determine whether or not the volcanoes are erupting. It's not something science talks about a lot. An asteroid fight club has been under fire, and by that I mean me. Last week, like 8 days, like I have to reset my computer almost every day now because they go in and they shut my microphones off. And then they call me a bunch of names online. It's like they really don't want anything other than the right side, which is like grand solar minimum, which explains everything that ever happens, or the left side is like human caused climate change, which explains everything that ever happens. So you only get two choices. And there is just so much we don't know. And by assuming we know it all, then we stop looking for the answers. I mean, you got Steve, comets, crazy auroras. You know, you got the gas giants on the same side. You know, the Ayers factor. It's all wild. 2019 is definitely a cliffhanger. And as the big giant narrative machine tries to control what everybody thinks, it's good to have me standing on the wall with my own independent critical thinking. And so I do a fundraiser every single month to raise my bills for the next month. So we are in that phase. And so if you'd like to contribute or donate to THORnews, you could send me a letter, which is by far the absolute safest way to go, at TLewison 5430 Birdwood Road, number 416, Houston, Texas 77096. I got a PayPal link in my information box down below. I got a Venmo, a CashApp, a Patron, and I would like to say thanks to Kenneth. I got your letter in the mail on Saturday. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate everyone in Asteroid Fight Club for keeping me hanging on, because it has been a wild time indeed. And so on a hurricane tip, we will be watching for what Lorenzo does. And it looks like either way, England and the UK are going to be getting hit by wave after wave after wave of hurricanes, or storms. But see there at the bottom, the GFS has a major storm, major hurricane moving up the coast. Although it puts it a little later than I had guessed, we're still going to be looking out for it. Uh-oh. But so let me do this real quick. And so here Lorenzo misses, but then forms with another low, spins around, and then comes and smacks England right before another hurricane. You see that? So they're like, oh, Lorenzo's definitely not going to hit. I definitely wouldn't say definitely, especially when it spins around, forms into a Voltron Godzilla storm, and then it hits right before another storm hits. So that's pretty crazy. And if you look at overall, the weather seems wild. And if you'll notice down here, I've been predicting for 5 months that we will see a major hurricane, possibly even category 5, depending on the land interaction and the wind shear, that will move up through here, get caught with one of these fronts, and then get pulled through the inside of the shaft of Florida. Now we're looking at the King Euro, which nailed Sandy. It's got some interesting tidbits I wanted to point out. One, it has Lorenzo dipping south below the UK through Spain and France, which is very interesting. And I want to point out, having watched these model runs all day, every day, many times it has shown Lorenzo to be a category 3 or possibly even a category 4 hurricane. And then on our watch, because by my guesses, the hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico should form around anywhere between the 7th to the 10th, and then may make landfall anywhere from the 11th through the 15th. What we're looking for is a big front like this, and so then the hurricane would get picked up on the front like a skyhook in Batman Returns, and then it would get dragged up here and then possibly even up the East Coast. That varies. And so see how, like, when this is getting dragged out, that's when this would get pulled up through. That's what we're kind of looking for. And I guess the very best case would it could get skyhooked out through Florida, but I don't know if that's going to happen. You can see the giant Azores High, which had been wrapped around up into Texas, has broken down a bit. So it's definitely going to be an interesting October. The CMC Music Factory pulls Lorenzo straight into Europe and the UK. I don't know, a bunch of people were saying that Lorenzo's danger to the UK was being overhyped. I was like, dude, it is 2019. You got a storm which broke all records that nobody guessed would be Cat 5 in that area other than me. So I would expect it to continue to surprise to the upside. No matter what, I believe October is going to be really stormy with or without hurricanes, because it is the Eris alignment. And if you'll notice, the CMC Music Factory, has a hurricane developing around the 6th or 7th, like I've been talking about, although it has it wester and then it takes it west. So that would be about 9 days from now. We're looking at the Nav Jam, which has a low just kind of floating and hanging out in the extremely warm Gulf of Mexico, not developing, not really doing anything, but the rain all around looks pretty intense. I definitely think we're going to see something develop in the Gulf of Mexico. But it also takes Lorenzo high and tight and straight into Europe, man, with the second storm following it up, punching it in the face. Now we're looking at the icon. And so, but the icon has the low, but not as a hurricane, moving very near Crystal River, Florida, like I've been talking about for 5 months. And so, if you can support me and my science and my channel, I would super appreciate it. Because if I get this right, and we do have a major hurricane headed to Crystal Rivers or Tampa, Florida, in the time frame allotted, I will help save a lot of lives, because this thing could be more massive than Lorenzo. I mean, look at the size of that storm that's going by Europe. It's just a very weird point. And then you got another hurricane rolling off. Many people think this hurricane season could be like 2 weeks late and might even extend into November. And so I have been severely under fire for 8 days. They definitely don't want to see me exist through October if I got my prediction right. Apparently it's like a gang war competition. I'm the only person here trying to save lives, I guess. Man, what a weird time. Anyway, I love you guys. I'm a little frustrated. I'll do what I can to bring you the best information possible. But if you could support me, that would be wonderful. Especially since all signs are showing that I may have nailed this one too. Not counting Dorian / Humberto. Now the middle of October hurricane. The models continue to show it in some form or fashion repeatedly. T. Lewison, 5430 Birdwood Road, number 416, Houston, Texas, 77096. I got a PayPal. And from now on, I'll leave everybody's name linked here. If you have donated, and if you don't see your name listed, that means hackers kick me in the balls again. But thank you, Kenneth, and everybody out there who's gotten us this far. And remember, THORnews 7-year anniversary is November 23rd. Sweet. So yeah, look for me to release some best of THORnews videos over the next 7 weeks. All right, everybody, stay cool. Have a wonderful Sunday, and I will love you. Okay, great. God bless everyone. Peace out.